Councillor Alexis as well.
Councillor Alexis is also on the phone. Great. The town of Inuvik acknowledges that we are located on the traditional lands of the Gwich'in and Inuvialuit people of the Northwest Territories. We're grateful to be allowed the opportunity to learn, work, and live on Treaty 11 lands within the Gwich'in settlement area and the lands of the Inuvialuit final agreement. Welcome, Jackie. Item number 2, adoption of the agenda. Any comments? Item 3, declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest. Anyone? Seeing none. Item 4, delegations, presentations, or petitions. Do we have any? No. Item 5, public question period. Any questions? Item 6, adoption of the minutes of the March 11th and 13th, 2024 council meetings. Any comments, corrections? Seeing none. Item 7, 7.1 is the action items list. There is one change on item number 2, recruitment. I guess we do have a marketing and communication coordinator all now. So that's no longer in progress.
No, that is still in progress.
Sorry?
That's still in progress.
Yeah, it's still in progress.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other comments? Item number 8, no business, nothing. 9, no bylaws. Item 10, department updates. 10.1, economic development and tourism. Charlotte?
Good evening. Alrighty, so the last few events that the department participated in was the Vancouver Outdoor and Travel Show. We started our trip in Vancouver with a presentation of the town of Inuvik to Capilano University after being invited by Rita Ospina from ITI. There was more than 40 students attending and lots were very interested in different job positions in town. We had also some that already connected with us on LinkedIn or by email. So, and during the Vancouver show, we had Bambi Amos, who was representing the town with us, and she had a good success with her arts and crafts. And on our side, we had a great success as well, counting more than 500 interactions with people. Like, we didn't even count people that just came by taking some brochures and stuff without even talking with us. Just 500 we actually talked to. So, well, good feedback, lots of people. And if you want to go to the next slide, that is a little part of the report from Ethan, who was with me. So he's saying overall it was a great to share Inuvik in the South. One lady I talked to had won a door prize. When she picked it. She was very excited with tears in her eyes, and in her words, "This is great. Our conversation yesterday convinced my husband a trip to Inuvik is realistic, and we've already started to plan the trip." It is these connections that solidify Inuvik as a tourist destination and show the importance of the towns and participation in trade shows. So yeah, we had great feedback from people that really wanted and had a lot of questions. I did a on-stage presentation of the town, and a lot of people were really interested and had a lot of questions, especially regarding the how to get there and how safe it is. So yeah, people want to come here. So that's, next slide is the tourism week coming up. We're working on that right now with Ethan. So it's from April 15th to the 19th. We have, for example, a token hunt with different prices throughout the week that you need to find in the town, outside of town. Each token represents a price. And during that week, we are also working on a partnership with ITI to maybe have some workshops regarding tourism. We're also going to do operators' portraits for the week. So yeah, that's on the work. And also it's a photo contest, to get more the vision of Inuvik from the people as well, and also update our gallery of pictures. And then, of course, as you know, the Arctic Development Expo, I'm still working on it, Revision, getting more into people's. It's, I guess, the more it's getting late, the more I get inquiries and people are actually, I get a lot of phone calls saying, oh yeah, we want to come, but they're not going to, they're not going on the website actually to book yet. So it's a lot of that and lots of actually meetings regarding sponsorship right now. So, and we're working with ETEC, we're thinking about having a little drinks booth in the middle to get more people connected and talking during the exhibition booth. So there will be more interactions hopefully during that event. And the next slide is about the different projects. So Inuvik Guide is closed for now. This is a wrap up. We picked the Inuvik cover. I mean, the residents of Inuvik picked the Inuvik cover guide. And we're working right now on a promotional video of the town to continue with that image of town of Inuvik is a town to live, work, invest, play, visit, and conduct business. So we're working right now on getting some footage to put together, hopefully by the end of the year, a nice video to share with the world. We are also working on the Discover Inuvik signage that you have right in front of the town hall. Jackie actually had started that project with ordering new signs. So I contacted some different organizations in town to get information on what to put on the signs as well. So yeah, that's going on. And as the mayor was saying, the marketing coordinator, unfortunately, is still a search. Hopefully by the end of the week, we'll know more. But yeah, and today I just approved the job description of the tourism front desk receptionist position. So hopefully we'll be out by the end of the week as well for starting in May. Thank you.
Questions? Seeing none, thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Next, we have 10.2 protective services. Landmark.
So we can get the presentation on the screen. I've got two things. So I handed out a copy of one of our tracking sheet that we use. Just move to the next one because I've only got a few numbers on here this time. All right, we have a chat about the calls for service first. So we've had quite a few animal control calls this month. We're just gonna leave it from managed for our MED department just because we're in the midst of doing some repairs of the pound as well. So it's kind of sparse over there in terms of equipment and other things, because we've cleared everything out just to get ready for a capital project that we're working on as well. But they've managed to work within that and take really good care of the animals that they have apprehended. Including the somewhat unfortunate one they had to put down an animal just recently as well. There was a big rush with taxi permits and getting everybody inspected the previous month, so it's just a few hangers on from that were counted on this month. And they were quite a bit doing vehicle patrols as well. So vehicle patrols basically anything where they're traveling throughout the community, going to various locations, whether it's on report or just proactive reports. And then foot patrols when they're found on the ground. We're hoping to increase the foot patrols and introduce bicycle patrols throughout the spring and summer as well. I think it's a really effective way to get people out, get them out with municipal enforcement peace officers out there into the community and talking to people, chatting with people and doing proactive enforcement throughout. So you'll see the new category bike patrols with the in the spring. We just didn't want to quite get started this early in the year. On the fire side, we've had 4 fires, and they've been some decent ones. Some structure fires, several vehicle fires. But we've been able to handle everything. It's been pretty straightforward from a response point of view. Ample turnout. It's been great dealing with, working with our firefighters on those. And just we've provided a lot of support to the people who were affected by those incidents as well. Our technical alarm faults are coming down, which is great. That's working proactively with a number of different landlords in town and educate them on changes they can make, other contractors they can consult to reduce their technical alarm faults and their nuisance alarms as well. Also with GNWT, they have a lot of large buildings, commercial buildings with weird controllers and other sensors and things all throughout the buildings. So we get a lot of calls from them, unfortunately, on the technical alarm fault side, but they're really good to work with, at least for the infrastructure side. On our medical side, so we include medical response, could be rescue, could be medical, could be a few other things. Basically, it's whenever EMS is requested to assist from us under our agreements that we have with them. So I can, as an example, there's a patient that was on the other side of the door, they could not get up, they couldn't get it, answer their apartment door. So we assisted on that one. We forced to open the door just to provide access so they can be treated in an emergency. So provide ancillary support for things like that. Whenever primary response on these ones as well, that always goes back to AMS. That is just for the additional support that we can provide on either like high acuity calls, where so cardiac arrest, maybe trauma, things like that, or with lift assists, or forcible entry and other things like that, or motor vehicle collisions as well. That's kind of our calls for service of the last little bit. I just put one number on the report today because this is kind of what I want to focus on. So it's 83.20, and that represents the percentage that we have remaining in the protective services budget for this fiscal year. Can you pull up the spreadsheet I put in there as well? So we use an internal tracking form within the protective services department. I provided all of our staff within protective services have access to this just to review it. We do a few different things within this. We have our accounting system that we use, Maze. We have our entries into there. I also update our visa expenditures as we make them, just so we have a running tally of what we're actually spending on a regular basis. I also have another category for approved but not entered. So that's for invoices that I've approved, but they haven't been coded or entered into the system yet, and few and far between on that one, which is great. And then committed. So a lot of the times when we work with vendors, what they do is we'll order something, especially within fire service, equipment, supplies, and things like that. There's a huge lead time with a lot of equipment. We could be looking at a month, anywhere up to like 6 to 9 months even, just depending on what the equipment is. So once we commit to something, we're kind of on the hook to buy it, especially if it's a customized piece of equipment, but we're not invoiced yet. So I include that into the committed line. And then basically have the total amount remaining, and then the percentage remaining. So it gives me a good idea of where we're sitting on a regular basis. So I'm going to try to present these ones every quarter or so, just so that council and taxpayers know exactly where we're sitting, that we're using tax dollars effectively. So I'll talk about some of the things that were kind of way over budget, or not necessarily way over budget, but it's just not in line because there's explanations for a lot of this. A lot of the utilities entries just haven't been made, so it looks like we haven't spent anything in those ones, but there are some numbers that have to go in. And then we have limited control over what we can do with the utilities, and that's usually entered by infrastructure as they receive the invoices. Some of the other items, we have some corrections to be made just in the casual wages. We're not sitting at 50% of casual wage usage within municipal enforcement. It's quite a bit lower than that. We're just trying to back some entries of that out. There was one staff member from a different department that was incorrectly coded to that, but I still keep doing it just for accuracy purposes, so we can work right against that. Salaries, wages, and other benefits, we're kind of bang on exactly where we expected to be there. And we are working with HR and corporate services just to develop a term position for one of our staff members who's potentially going to be going on the parent leave. So we're waiting for that to be finalized, but we kind of have things lined up in terms of training, some overlap to provide that training support, so that we will be loss of service from the municipal enforcement side throughout the summer and fall and next winter. Just kind of moving down, we should be sitting roughly around 75% of everything. That's kind of where we're sitting for a lot of these expenditures, and especially the big lines is what I'm looking at to maintain, because we don't really want to get into a position where we're trying to spend everything out just in the last few months of the year, especially with transport times, road closures, and things like that. So we're trying to spread it over the year while at the same time keeping a buffer for any emergencies and other things as well. Just kind of working our way down on the fire protection side. Our communication and licensing, we're a little bit front loaded on that one, just because we had a number of setup costs with the new program that we are using called PS Tracks. That allows us to do inventory, basically it's an inventory setup with maintenance and logging, and a number of other things where we can track exactly what we're putting into each vehicle. In terms of maintenance, regular checks, monthly checks for all the equipment, and a number of other things. So it's been a great software system. They had to build the program for us and all the entries, and then the costs are gonna come down year to year pretty substantially. It's gonna fit within our budget quite well. We'll still be within the budget I planned for that this year, and we'll get some of the other software that we weren't using. But PSTrex has been great. Lots of other fire departments use it all over North America. Some of the other items are fire protection supplies. That's one of our big ones. We're trying to spend against that and just to kind of even that out throughout the year as well. We'll leave quite a bit of a buffer towards the end of the year, just depending on what we get as we get broken equipment or other consumables that we start to tear through. We'll probably put in a hose line order pretty soon. We're gonna be doing some hose testing over the Easter weekend, just to see where everything's sitting with our current supply, and what we need to order. Because we've noticed, some of them are going large tubers and other bumps on them as we pressurize them, which isn't necessarily the safest thing for our members. So there's quite a bit in the committed category in that. So we purchased a new, extension ladder. We have a new, ventilation fan. We do quite a bit of ventilation at multi-unit buildings. So that was a good expenditure. We switched over to a battery powered system that actually integrates into our entire DeWalt system that we're using right now. So it basically uses common batteries and looks a lot of our different tools. And we're looking to upgrade any more of our electronic tools to be using DeWalt system as well, instead of just generic batteries or one-off proprietary batteries, because those can get really expensive to replace. Some of the other things that you see in the training budget, I have an estimate is for a 1006 technical rope rescue course that we're doing. That's going to come down a bit. We're just working with another provider to that we typically deal with College of the Rockies, and that should get us down probably close to the 10,000 mark on that, and we'll be able to run 3 large training programs with this. For some of the other stuff that hasn't been spent yet, that's our professional development for John and I. We're working on that. We're actually doing some courses right now. We pre-purchased some stuff with the remaining budget from last year to do some courses this year, and just finishing those up. And we're just waiting until those are complete before we embark on more courses. MED is actually kind of in the same spot right now. We haven't spent out the professional development budget, but Raven and Carl are looking at some use of force training just to keep up on that side. It's basically how to do conflict resolution, de-escalation within that program. It's done at a Yellowknife when they do it. So what we're hoping to do is get our term employee on that as well, just to provide more training for him and just to make him a more effective peace officer throughout the summer as well. One of the other big ones I'd like to draw attention to is there's 2 more I kind of want to talk about here. So our vehicle repairs and maintenance. We put a lot of time and effort into zeroing out all of our vehicles this year. Council did approve an increase in the budget for that, which is great because it's allowed us to really proactively address some of the issues that we've encountered and get things running nice and smooth right now. So we're at a point where we're just ironing final details, and we should just be on a regular preventive maintenance schedule with a lot of these. So we're pretty happy with where things are sitting with that. Chasing that one more air leak on pump 1, but we got the charger, there was a battery charger that was bad on it, and I just swapped that out the other day. So we're happy with that. And then finally, our fuel. So we also track our fuel internally as well. So we just make sure that we always know exactly what's going into each vehicle. We're tracking by vehicle as well, just to see what's consuming more, what eventually need replacing, and what vehicles we kind of want to either run less if possible. We noticed that the new municipal enforcement vehicle that we're going to be using, it's a hog. It's 2,500, uses quite a bit more fuel than we anticipated, but it's just going to help us kind of plan better for next year as well. So we'll stay within budget within this line. We're not too worried because again, this summer it's going to be significant. We'll see more apparatus use, but then less regular vehicle use during that time as well. Less idling and other things. Right now, if we move the vehicle outside of the bays, it has to stay idling and it has to stay in a high idle as well. So anyone who's not familiar with that term, it's basically running at a higher RPM, consuming more fuel, but it's going to reduce long-term wear and tear on that vehicle as well. So that's all I've got in this. We're pretty happy with where we're sitting. We're just making sure that we're staying track and on top of things to provide accountability for our budget. That's all I have this week. I just want to kind of focus on this. I won't take a lot of time, so if there's any questions, feel free.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
10.3 infrastructure. Daniel.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm just gonna give a quick overview on what we've been working on. So we have a list of about 29 projects on our capital projects list. But not all of them have moved in the last little while. Some are still in design phase, some are currently just waiting for construction season. And we're moving along with some, and I'm just gonna run through a couple of that. So the new blue garbage bins, they've arrived on schedule, and they're now sitting at our King Road yard, and just waiting for spring and summer for them to be assembled and then placed where they need to be. We now have the consultants in place, and after the approval from council last cycle to move money around, so we have a consultant in place to look at the backup generator for the water treatment plant. We've also started preparing for spring snow clearing. Contractor will do a last thorough clean of the town, and I actually saw them doing that today. They started clearing out snow from the town and remove as much snow as possible to help with drainage. The ditching services have also begun, and working with our utility lead to ensure possible problem culverts and areas are cleaned as soon as possible. Trash pumps are also available if required. Next slide, please. A couple of capital projects that has moved or that we made progress on in the last little while. The solar array project, so Solvers has purchased a couple of the materials they will need. Our report on that one to the feds, which is NRCan, has also been submitted, and now we should be expecting our funds, the funds we've spent to be refunded. The Hidden Lake biomass, we've also submitted a report on that one, and the money we've spent so far should be refunded to us. The annual water license, that the application and draft report is also complete, and it has also been reviewed, so the consultant should be submitting that pretty soon. Next slide. I think that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions, Councillor Devil?
Do we have a map of where the proposed new blue bins will be placed?
So we're gonna work with balls welding and to put something in place as to where it's actually required and all that kind of stuff. So we haven't done that yet. Like I said, it's just been delivered, and we need to put that plan together pretty soon here so that once the spring summer hits, we can get that.
Any other questions? Thank you, Daniel.
All right.
10:24, corporate is. Stephen.
So good evening, everyone. This is the corporate services report for this period. The first part is quantitative update. The capital projects report have been distributed to council members, and each director will speak to the major expenditure in their reports. And they are expected to, they've started doing that. They're expected to also give reasons for negative variances, if any. The operating budget reporting is still in progress. We'll start reporting on 2024 soon, because structures are put in place for 2024. We're still trying to get through getting everything into 2023 and reconciling the books to be ready for our final reporting and the auditors. The highlights, the biomass heating project, Hidden Lake was We had a report on it during the week, and we had something very good coming out from there. We reported that we spent over budget, and they said they had some money, and then we could apply for an additional 150,000, which we did, and we signed the CA just last week. So they are going to give us an additional 150,000 because we spent more. So we're able to also submit some other outstanding interim reports during the week last week. Next slide. Next slide. Next. Okay.
That one, right?
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Okay. Qualitative update. What we accomplished. We're getting some mileage on our bank reconciliation as more staff are engaged in finding and matching items for November 2023. Usually we have issues with matching cash and check deposits, and some staff are helping with that right now because we take cash and checks from 3 different locations, and we have new staff who are handling these things, and it can be a challenge, just to put it mildly. Visa credit card entries have been entered for the rest of 2023. We are now at the stage of reconciliation and balancing the Visa suspense account. Our finance officer can now focus on finance issues as Adam is back and has been helping us as well. We also trained MSC and Welcome Center front desk staff on cash receipting. We were looking at streamlining the process so that it becomes easier to do bank reconciliation, especially for cash and check. So we embarked on training front desk staff, now putting new processes and policies in place, ensuring that everybody is using the same format in all the locations where we collect cash and check. What's coming up? We're going to continue with interim and final reporting for our funders. We'll be conducting interviews within the week for AR and utilities officer. And we're also working on resumes that we have received for the front desk temp staff. We are planning to also recruit. And we are intensifying effort, as I said earlier, completing 2023 September to December bank reconciliation and to enter our outstanding items in the system. We're also working on a better Visa credit card process.
Any questions for Stephen? Seeing none, thank you. 10.5, Parks, Recreation and Leisure.
You have a,
I do not have a fancy report this evening. It'll be oral. As I just mentioned, my report this week will be an oral one, so I do have some notes in front of me, so I will be reading from some of them. Recently, 4 of my staff had attended the Arctic Winter Games, and prior to that, we did hire 3 new casual staff at the desk to compensate for the lack of staff. So all the staff have returned, and we are confidently staffed for coverage at the complex now. To continue with staffing, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the new recreation coordinator, Trace Bozarth. Had joined us on Monday, and he's already hit the ground running and hosted a ping pong event in partnership with Table Tennis North this Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, and also a coaching clinic this evening. So, so far so good. With that, we have an informal Easter event on Easter Sunday at the ski hill for some sliding, snowshoeing, hot chocolate, and other such activities. Further into the month, we're going to be doing a lost and found pickup at the complex for the abundance of lost and found items, so they can either be returned to their rightful owners find a new home or go to the free store, once the 2 nights of lost and found pickup are complete. To the arena side, Simcoe has been to the complex and we have identified where the leak was, from our brine. We're happy with the results and, we're coming up with a plan for them to return to complete, the project to, either cap that line or to, repair it indefinitely. So for, questions to the Muskrat Jamboree, the floor is safe to operate on. The stage line trailer is in the arena, and assembled, and staff are working to get pipe and drape tables, chairs, and other assets assembled for, the Muskrat Jamboree to host it without any, inconvenience to their organization. We're also looking at the river site for the Jamboree, bringing down 3 large, porta potties, 1 accessible one, 2 regular sized ones, and some additional garbage bins for, that event, in 2 weeks. Follow up to the, Union Local 3, request for donation. I've made a number of attempts to reach out for further clarification as to their request to their discount. Those have gone unanswered. Excuse me. Further into next month, Foreman and myself will be attending the, Alberta Rec and Parks, conference and trade show in Lethbridge, Alberta, to network with partners, get some exposure, and to learn some new things, along the way. So, also this evening, Books in the Home at the library is just wrapped up. So that's a first event in a series of events that will be taking place at the library. So that's about all I have for my report this week. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions? Being none, thank you. Item 11.1, strategic priorities chart. Any comments? 11.2, I have some updates. As you know, we're recruiting for the vacant SAO position. I believe the competition closes April 7th. Our council committee, we have myself and Councillor Merrill, and I have room for 1 more councillor if anybody wants to volunteer. Councillor Wainman? Anyone else? And Councillor Devlin. So like I say, we have room for 1.
Council Wayman can have it.
Thank you, Councillor Devlin. I appreciate that. So Councillor Wainman. We'll keep you advised as to when we're reviewing the applications and so on, so you can be there. Thank you for volunteering. Second item I had is the vacant council position from Councillor Gallons moving to Yellowknife. We normally would have the option of going to the next person on the list at the election, but when Councillor Alexis and Councillor Day were elected to council, they were the only 2 running, so there is no next person. The other option we have is to appoint a member of the public or hold a by-election or leave the position vacant. So could we have a discussion on that? Then you can make the choice as to what you want to do. Councillor Harder.
With a new term starting in November, it seems like,
Sorry,
with a new term starting, like an election in November, is there any,
be November 1st. would be
yeah, is
when
there
the
any
new
reason
term
to actually
start. So we have
just leave the position vacant?
April, May, June, July, August, September, 7 months.
I'm for leaving it vacant.
Okay. Thank you for the viewpoint. Anybody else? Councillor Devlin.
I second Council Harder. It's vacant.
Any further discussion?
Yeah,
All
this
those
is Councilor Miro. Sorry. I also agree with leaving it vacant. It's a very short period of time and there would be a cost to having a by-election.
Yes, I can't see them having a by-election myself, but I guess general consensus is that, we leave the position vacant. Thank you. One other thing I had, which I hadn't written down, sorry, it's not on the FCM. Excuse me. Federation of Canadian Municipalities, AGM is in Calgary from June 6th to 9th. I'll be going myself, but there's room for one counselor. Now, we've had Counselor Devlin and Counselor Harder attend the last two. So if someone else would like to attend,
I could make myself available.
Counselor Alexis, is anybody else interested? Okay, Counselor Alexis, you're in. Thank you very much. Item 12, council concerns.
I'd like to bring
Nothing.
something up, please.
Yes,
No, I
Councillor
have
Merrill.
something, please. Yeah,
Yes.
a community member had come to Councillor Harder and I concerned about the amount of snow being piled on a vacant lot next to their home, and of course, with the runoff this spring might be significant. Do we have a bylaw that basically says you can't do something in your lot that damages the neighbor's lot, such as piling up snow?
Not that I'm aware of. Do you know of anything, Cindy?
I'd have to look in the bylaws.
Yeah, we can check and see, Councillor Merrill, and if there is something we can
Okay.
act on. I assume you're
Because the
referring,
other point is, yeah, but the other point is, I'm not sure it's not snow that our contractors have piled up because there's so little room. It's over on Council Crescent. When you drive around, there's virtually no room to put snow. So I don't know if it's our responsibility or the lot owners, and maybe we could look into that.
I have the answer for you.
okay, we'll check into it.
It's a current vacant lot with the federal government. The snow was piled in from the town. We're hauling it away currently. So their concern is going away. But it was going away anyways. It was scheduled to be hauled away, so you just.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Anything further?
I have nothing further.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I need a motion to go in camera. Councillor Harder, seconded by Councillor Wainman. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Carried. Thank you very much for attending, everyone. 2-minute break.